Welcome back to the highlight spiel. I'm Fletch. As you can see or tell, I'm rocking this solo dolo again. James is sick. Wishing him a speedy recovery. Let's dive right into it. Last week I went 5-2, making my overall 28-14. JB went 4-3 last week, making his overall 22-20. So as you can tell, I got a 6-game lead on him. I'm hoping it'll grow this week. Now let's talk about the Week 8 review. Upset of the week. My upset of the week is Ohio State, as I think it is everybody else's. I don't think anyone's seen this upset coming. I mean, they lost by 29 points to Purdue. I liked how David Blow controlled Purdue's offense and torched Ohio State's defense, but at the same time, Ohio State, they put up yards. Dwayne Haskins broke the Ohio State single-game passing yardage record. They just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. That's what it boiled down to. Purdue kept them out of the end zone, and that's why they beat the hell out of them.
Makers believe that despite just shocking the world and pulling the upset, they're contenders in the Big Ten West. It is intercepted. Bailey the other way. Marcus Bailey punctuates this upset with a pick six. Final seconds, I wouldn't even snap it. Boilermakers rush the field. What a night in West Lafayette.
And now my players of the week. My whole Week 8 review basically is all Purdue related. So my players of the week is the Purdue trio. Number 3, I had DJ Knox. He had 16 carries, 128 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then number 2, I had Rondale Moore, 12 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And number 1, I had David Blow, 25 of 43, 378 yards, and 3 touchdowns. As you can see, them 3 players lit Ohio State's defense up. They didn't have an answer for them. And that's shocking to me, very shocking. And then my team of the week, like I said, is all Purdue related. Purdue Boilermakers. They upset then number 2 Ohio State 49-20. Like I said, towards their defense gave up yards, but ultimately kept them out of the end zone, and that's what you're supposed to do. So give my hats off to Purdue. A big old upset on number 2 Ohio State, and you never know, could have just knocked them out of the playoffs. Now we're going to preview Week 9. Let's talk about the games of the week. Thursday, October 25th at 7:30, we got number 25 Appalachian State traveling to Georgia Southern. I got Appalachian State winning. I don't really know too much about neither of these teams, but I think Appalachian State will get it done on the road. And then Saturday, October 27th at 12, we got number 2 Clemson traveling to take on Florida State. I got Clemson winning. I'll get a little into that. We'll get into that game a little bit later. Then at 3:30, we got number 21 South Florida traveling to Houston. I got Houston pulling the upset. I think Derek King, he had an outstanding game against Navy, and I feel like he can do the same against South Florida. And I think he'll be the X factor of that game, and he'll get them to win. And then at 3:30 also, we got number 18 Iowa traveling to take on number 17 Penn State. I'm taking Penn State, even though I think it'll be a close game. Iowa's looking good this year. Penn State hasn't lived up to their expectations this year, but I still think Penn State will get it done. And then at 3:30, we got number 9 Florida playing number 7 Georgia in a neutral site in Jacksonville, Florida at the Jaguar Stadium. I think it'll be a defensive game, as the SEC usually is, but I think Georgia will win, pull it off. I think Jake Fromm will just have a little bit too much for Florida's defense. And then at 7, we got number 14, Washington State, traveling to take on number 24, Stanford. I'm going to take Washington State. I liked them last week against Oregon. They upset them, even though they only scored once in the second half, I believe. I think they'll play a better game all around and beat Stanford. And then the last game we got at 8 o'clock, we got number 6, Texas, traveling to Oklahoma State. And that's a big Big 12 game. I got Texas winning, but they're traveling to Oklahoma State. Anything could happen. Like I said, it's a Big 12 game. Oklahoma State obviously would want to upset Texas and mess the whole Big 12 up, you know what I mean? But I got Texas winning. I know I said my partner Burlington's sick, but I got him to text me his picks for the games of the week. And his picks are Appalachian State over Georgia Southern. He got Clemson over Florida State. He got South Florida over Houston. He's got Iowa over Penn State. He got Georgia over Florida. He's got Washington State over Stanford and Texas over Oklahoma State. As you can see, we got most of the same picks this week. We disagreed on a couple of them. I could have a bigger lead, but he could make some ground, but it ain't gonna be a lot of ground. It'll be a couple games. No ground's better than any ground. I mean, any ground's better than no ground. Now let's talk about the upset alert. Like I said, we would talk about this game. I'll go into detail on it a little bit more. Clemson, I got Clemson on upset alert. Even though I think they'll win, it's on the road, in a hostile environment in Florida State. It's a big rivalry game, so anything can happen. But like I said, I got Clemson winning. But that big old rivalry game could change it, and that's why I got them on upset alert. Now let's talk about the X Factor of the week. My X Factor of the week is Trevor Lawrence. He's freshman, starting quarterback, going on the road. I think it's his first big road game of rivalry, even though Florida State isn't ranked. They haven't looked too good this year. I still think where it's being a rivalry game, anything can happen. They would want to knock down the number 2 team and, give them some confidence. But I think if Trevor Lawrence plays like he did last week, and he can easily light up Florida State's defense like he did NC State's, and he'll get them to win, like I said. Now let's talk about the Heisman race. I usually do the top 5, where it's getting so late into the season. I narrowed it down to 4, and next week I'll probably only have 3. But then after that, it'll stay at 3 until the Heisman comes out, and I feel like I'll pick the Heisman. Okay, so at 4, I got Clemson's running back, Travis Etienne. He's been outstanding all year. He's had 3 straight games, 3+ touchdowns. I think it's the record, I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? So he came out the woodworks. He's only a sophomore. Sky's the limit for him. And then at number 3, I got Dwayne Haskins. He dropped 1 spot for the simple fact they got upset. And granted, he broke the single game passing yardage record at Ohio State, but he threw a pick 6 at the end of the game, and he just didn't look the same. He didn't look like the Dwayne Haskins that I know, so he dropped. And then number 2, I got Kyler Murray. He moved up a spot. He took Dwayne Haskins' spot. He balled last week. He's a distant second place from the first place. In first place, I got Tua Tagovailoa. I just don't see him dropping at all unless he has a terrible game, which I don't see that happening. Alabama's offense, he orchestrates their offense perfectly. He's got 25 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the year. So he's knocking on the 30 club. 30 touchdowns, no picks. I think he can do it. Now let's talk about the playoff prediction.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
My top 4 teams, I think so far through week 9, top 4 is I got LSU at 4. I think them upsetting Georgia really got them up and going, and then Ohio State losing, it made them come back to like they did. Them losing to Florida didn't even make them miss a beat. So now it's like they don't even have a loss because they're still in the top 4. And number 3, I got Notre Dame. I'm pretty sure the last 5 contests of the season, all on the road, or 4 out of their last 5s on the road, something like that. So that's going to be a true test. Their last games at USC. We seen USC upset Colorado a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, anything can happen. And Notre Dame might not be in the top 4 when the season's over. Who knows? Number 2, I got Clemson. Clemson's looked dominating all year. They had that close scare against Syracuse, but other than that, not too many games have been close. So I'm going to go with Clemson 2. And then number 1, Alabama. Alabama's looked like by far the best team all around all year, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. I see them going undefeated all year. Well, that's the highlight spiel, brought to you by 304 Productions. I'm Fletch. Like I said, Cruz got him a new website, almostheavenathletics.com. Give it a look at. He writes some articles, some good ass articles. Follow him on Twitter, Facebook. He also has the Country Roads webcast. Follow him on Twitter, Facebook. Give it a like. Thank you. I'll see y'all next week.